they made all those guys just run around like they had no idea. It was like people who have never played football before playing
That
against...
team was dangerous.
Playing against pros.
That team was absolutely dangerous.
Yeah. So for me, I think he won 5 league titles in 6 years.
It was only
or 4
one.
league titles in 6 years, something like that. And he won 2 Champions Leagues and did 2 trebles. So for me, if that's not the best rebuild ever, then I don't know what is.
Yes, crowd. Yes, crowd. Yes, crowd. We are back. Now, guess what, yeah? I had to replace a Liverpool fan with another Liverpool fan because, you know, I needed some ball knowledge on this table. We're bringing in Let Him Shoot's veteran, Let Him Shoot's GOAT. This is a crazy intro I'm giving you. I
don't know why. I've never experienced this.
You're legendary, man.
I make one trip up and now I'm getting a nice...
Please.
This is how I can tell I've elevated myself in this Let Him Shoot community, because if this was Bruno Fernandes days, early episodes, I've matured.
You were having stinkers back
I've matured.
You guys having stinkers back
And
then.
now look at the way I'm being treated.
You're having stinkers back. Then introduce yourself, please.
Blame Samuel. I'm here. I took the chance because I thought, you know, Denai, he's been dealing with the same Liverpool fan every single week.
It's been tough.
And I know that they keep making the conversations about so much that we don't ever get to talk about Liverpool ever. And you guys haven't been talking about Liverpool and been talking about how good we've looked this season. So I thought I might as well just come on, share some knowledge.
Come on, well, you know the vibes. It's your boy Denai. One thing we've got to do though is say congratulations.
Before I clap, who are we congratulating?
Congratulations.
Who are we congratulating?
7K.
Oh shit!
7K
actually. 7K.
Crowd. Thank you. 7K. Come on. All before
best.
Japan. So now it's time to get to 8K. So what? We got a couple weeks left. What we got like? Was it
basically
3.5 weeks?
3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks. So let's get to 8K. Let's try that, crowd. So share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your mum. Tell your girlfriends. Tell your boyfriends. Tell everybody to like, share, and subscribe.
Facts.
Do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But today, like, obviously you're on the show. There's a bit of ball knowledge there.
Appreciate it.
We need to kind of wheel it back. I want to kind of go back in time a bit. But what I want to talk about is like, I was thinking the other day is like, what team has had the greatest team rebuild? What are these teams? What are these rebuilds? How were they? Were they successful? Were they not?
Okay.
So I want to ask you a question. In your mind, right?
Yeah.
What team has had one of the greatest rebuilds in history? Let's go back let's give ourselves a year range here. Let's say 2000, probably up.
Yeah.
When were you born again?
I was trying to expose my birth age,
well,
but let's just say it's around when the 2000s started.
Okay.
Just
So let's go from there. Let's go from
that.
when you were born, when you entered this world. Let's go from then.
Yeah, around there.
Great team rebuilds. Chat to me.
Okay. Well, obviously the one that comes to mind first is the one that I experienced myself. Jurgen Klopp rebuild of Liverpool. And I know you guys are going to say, he just wants to talk about Liverpool. He just comes on, talks about Liverpool. But that's one of the greatest rebuilds ever. And just because I felt that one in my soul, in my heart, I saw us losing every single week. We went through the struggles of Brendan Rodgers not winning the league, those issues. We lost all our players, did the worst money spent with that Suarez money. That's one of the worst investments ever. Then Brendan Rodgers goes and Jurgen Klopp is stuck with one of the worst Liverpool sides that the world's ever seen.
Yeah, I remember that squad.
And look what he turned it into today. Look at how easy it's been for a new manager to come in, and that's the difference in before he got there and then when he left.
So who would you say kickstarted that rebuild?
In terms of signings?
In terms of signings.
I think for me the where it started to just turn on is Sadio Mane. That's the first one. That's the first one.
He came from Southampton.
Yeah, Mane won Wijnaldum same window.
Wijnaldum from Newcastle?
Yep, from Newcastle. I feel as though that was the start of the rebuild. The next season Salah came in, then the next season Van Dijk came in, then the next season Alisson came in, and it was just like a
When did
rebuild.
Robbo come in? When did he?
Robbo came in the same season as Salah.
And then Trent got promoted.
In and around there.
Was he? No, he was Klopp. Yeah, he was Klopp. He wasn't Brendan Rodgers. He was Klopp.
Yeah, Klopp.
That was a big rebuild. Obviously, Klopp went on to win a Champions League, FA Cup,
He
Premier
won
League.
every trophy once. Yeah,
Every
except
trophy
Europa
once.
League, obviously.
Obviously, made Champions League final a few times as well. Jordan Henderson, the greatest Liverpool captain of all time.
You know you don't got to do that.
Hey man, it's true.
It's not.
It's true. But we'll move on from that. So yeah, let's see. How would you like out of like if you're going to rate that out of 10, what would you rate that?
Yeah, but what's like the best? What's the benchmark?
I don't know. Like it's a tough question.
Because from what I've watched, the team that he started with versus the team that he had at the end and how they were playing, for me, that's a 10.
Okay, let's rank it against this team. All right. See, Barcelona 03 Frank Rijkaard.
Yep.
Let's kind of compare those two. Kind of compare those two because I think that right there was a rebuild where Barcelona were in the mud.
Yeah,
they hadn't won. They hadn't done anything for a long
I
time.
think it was like, I don't know how many years, but
it was a while. 02 World Cup happens, obviously. Barcelona tries to go and get Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Madrid. They're rivals.
Yep.
So they lose out on that. Now, Ronaldinho is meant to go United, apparently.
Allegedly.
Apparently. I don't know how that would have worked out. But then he goes to Barcelona and transcends that football club.
Yeah.
Right?
Has a 4 or 5 year spell, 3 year spell. Where
The best player.
the best player in
the
the world.
Yeah. So you got Barcelona. They get Samuel Eto'o.
Yeah.
I think he signed. Was it Sociedad? He was
I
at
think
Madrid.
he was at Mallorca.
Mallorca, that's it.
I think so.
One of those clubs.
Based off the top of my head.
So it was Ronaldinho. You had Samuel Eto'o. Julie was there as well. He came in from Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
Deco comes in from Porto after winning
Yeah.
the Champions League with Mourinho.
Yeah. Changes the Barca midfield.
Changes the Barca midfield completely. Puyol breaks into the team during this transformation rebuild. Xavi's also promoted from the academy.
Yeah.
Also, as Iniesta, but he doesn't quite play that much.
Yeah, more so later in the
window.
Yeah.
Does Ibra come in that?
No,
Is it-
that's
after, wasn't it?
Guardiola.
That was Guardiola.
Yeah.
But then the last piece of that transformation
Yep.
was the man himself, Messi.
Yeah. Somebody had to promote him.
So what do we
Somebody
say?
had to promote him. That's
How are we comparing that,
okay.
bro?
If you are the guy who promoted Messi into the first team, then I feel as though you get the plaudits. It's kind of like, the comparison into another sport would be, obviously I don't think Steph Curry is the same level as Messi. But when Steve Kerr's not the one who had and grew Steph Curry.
Yeah.
He was brought into that Warriors side, and then they started playing around him. And then he goes on under a different manager to be the best player in the world. Whereas the same as Messi, he was grown under Rijkaard and goes on to be the best player without a doubt under Guardiola, because he was never the best player in the world under Rijkaard. I think it was just the season Guardiola took over, that's just the switch and the change, and he became the best. It was like Ronaldinho gone, now it's Messi's turn. But if we're talking about Barcelona's rebuild with Rijkaard.
I mean, Ronaldinho, you say that you were talking about this transition of Messi becoming the best. Ronaldinho was at PSG, obviously an elite player. He's had a good World Cup, gone to Barcelona, and gone on to be the best player in the world for probably 5 of the 8 seasons he was there.
Yeah.
So are we? What is that? Is that Rijkaard identifying that?
Yeah. No. That's elite. That's elite because they won Champions League 2006.
Yeah, they beat Arsenal in the final.
They beat Arsenal in the final. Sorry, man.
Bruv.
I know you don't know what it's like to win a Champions League, but
That's what we're doing.
I know you don't know what it's like to win a Champions League, so then maybe that would speak more to you, because you saw how good Arsenal sides were. Speaking of rebuilds, Wenger, Arsenal sides were, and they still couldn't win the Champions League. So maybe that achievement needs a little bit more
Conversation.
Weight.
So yeah, are we saying if you're ranking Liverpool's rebuild, Klopp's rebuild versus Rijkaard's rebuild, what are we saying there?
Okay. Far out, because Barca have the academy.
Yeah. But you got to talk about Liverpool's academy. Trent is arguably one of the greatest talents to come out of
It's a decent academy, but it doesn't compare to Barca's academy. If you look at the talent
no one compares to Barca's academy.
That Barca have brought through and consistently play and have become world's best players, he's got a big pool of academy players Rijkaard had to pick from at the time, because if you look at it, Puyol, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, all in that time came through.
Yeah.
So he had a better academy. I would say in comparison to the world, more money to spend. In comparison to the world.
Barca's academy.
In comparison to
Barca.
yes, I guess
that's
time.
true.
In comparison
Because
to time.
They had what's it called? They had they just elected a new president. They just going to invest money into the club.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whereas Klopp has only been allowed to spend what he makes. So if you want to say that Rijkaard's rebuild is better because of the level that Barca got to under him, maybe. But I think Klopp had a harder job rebuilding Liverpool than Rijkaard had rebuilding
Which is
Barca.
a great segue because now I want to talk about Arsenal. When we talk about Klopp's rebuild and being harder, Arsenal's got two kind of rebuilds here. One of them is like kind of transcended football in English football. Was Wenger when he came in. I think it was '98 when he came in then, and obviously new diet, new style of play, the French influx of players, right? Yeah. But let's push that one to the side a bit. Arteta. Now, we're talking about Klopp's rebuild where Klopp picked up this Liverpool team from Brendan Rodgers, which was an absolute stinker of a team, right? And he's gone on and signed. He signed Wijnaldum. He signed Mane. He signed Salah. He signed Van Dijk. Robertson. Goalkeeper
We've
Alisson.
signed everybody. Yeah.
Right? And obviously Trent gets
Fabinho.
promoted. Let's compare that to now Arteta taking over what was a monstrosity of a football team.
I don't think it was. I don't think the level of
and what he's done
the
to it
level
now.
of monstrosity isn't near the level of how bad Liverpool were.
I'm not.
Arsenal.
Maybe not.
You still had Ozil. You still had Lacazette. You still had Aubameyang.
Yeah.
These were
elite
good players.
Good players.
You had somebody like Guendouzi. I'm not going to say he's the best player, but I feel as though that's still a good player that he chose to get rid of.
Guendouzi in midfield.
I mean, I don't think he's... and Arteta hasn't won nothing yet.
He won an FA Cup.
He won an FA Cup. So if we're saying rebuilds to win an FA Cup, then we can create a new show where we only focus on FA Cup. If Paramount want to do a deal because we talk about FA Cups, as a big thing.
You got twisted, man. Optus now got the
do
FA
they?
Cup. Yeah, Optus.
So Optus, if you want to do a thing where we talk about only FA Cup, because apparently that's as important as other trophies now.
Nah, but how are you looking at that rebuild? Because obviously with Arsenal, Arteta, right? They were finishing. Emre was Lundberg technically, but Emre had just been there and that wasn't working. Yeah. There was one season where he prioritized the Europa League and we ended up losing to Chelsea instead of going for top 4. In that final, we played terrible.
Awful.
Right.
Hazard gave you guys the work.
Yeah. Pause. Arteta comes in. He cleans up the defense completely.
He's cleaned it up. Yes, he has.
Completely cleaned up the defense.
Completely. Yes, he has.
Midfield.
Arteta didn't sign Saliba, did he?
No, he didn't.
That was
Saliba
Emery,
was already there.
but he
Saliba
put
was
him on
already
loan, and Arteta brought him back.
No, Arteta put him on loan. First year, Arteta was there, put him on loan.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, there was that whole thing where like Arteta was like, I'm not sure if he's ready.
Yeah.
And he kind of got 4. He had one preseason. Arteta's full preseason. Because Arteta came in halfway through the season, right?
Yeah.
Arteta's full preseason. He saw him in training. He's like, oh shit. And obviously, because at that point in time, like Rob Holding was our centre back.
True. Rob Holding, Socrates.
Yeah. Like David Luiz, like things were
awful.
Things were terrible at the back. We had Kolasinac.
And you guys tried to tell me, I remember Tierney's one of the best left backs in the Premier League.
Are you going to tell me he wasn't one of the?
I remember this conversation.
I remember.
That's why time is great, because we can go back and think about these things, and we can look at where Kieran Tierney is now. He's only 26, 27. He's not old. And look where he is. Look at where Arteta has taken him and said,
you're not good enough.
Shoved him to the side. But you guys tried to tell me that Kieran Tierney was one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League. And I tried to tell you he's not. At
the time, he was one of the top left backs in the league.
Yeah, according to Arsenal
argue
fans.
that.
Oh, yeah, I can, because I always said he wasn't. And according to Arsenal fans, he was.
Don't make me bring up Bruno Fernandes. Do not make me bring up Bruno Fernandes.
That's a different
Do not make me, because
time is a wonderful thing.
And don't make me bring up Bernardo Silva as well.
All I said is, yeah.
We don't want to go there.
The crowd don't even have footage of that.
We don't want to go there.
They don't even have
exactly.
That footage.
See,
they don't even have that footage.
When I drop the bombs, it's, there's no footage.
They don't have that footage.
Production hid the footage.
But me, go back, watch the first, second, third, fourth episodes of Let Him Shoot from the beginning. Before COVID times.
Before COVID times. It was a different time back then. So Arsenal, we're not really ranking Arteta's rebuild that well.
Not to say he's not doing an incredible job now, because he is. And the team that you've built now is arguably the best team in the world on their day. So it's obviously great. And he's brought in Saka from the...
Saka was already promoted though.
Yeah, but he's turned him into the player that he is now. Martinelli, as much as I don't think he's one of the best players in the Premier League, he still nurtured him, brought him through from 18 plays. He's a starter now.
Yeah, well, he had one that breakout season where he bagged. There's talks about Martinelli though, that like his highlights are just like scrambles. Which when I think about it, I was like,
he's messy.
It's really messy.
No, not like Lionel Messi.
No, but it's a bit stinky.
Yeah.
It stinks a bit.
I don't enjoy watching Martinelli play.
We'll move on from Arsenal because there's another club that I want to talk about here on the other side of London, on the west side of London, the blue half, and that's Chelsea. And when we think about Chelsea's rebuilds or Chelsea's rebuild, the first one, obviously the influx of cash in
financial
04.
takeover.
Mourinho.
Career mode, financial takeover, sign whoever you want.
How are we ranking Mourinho's takeover? Because he went and signed 11 players, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it was something ridiculous.
Yeah, because there was not Rijkaard? Ranieri, right?
Yeah.
It was Ranieri, and then obviously
Mourinho.
Mourinho goes and signs. He signs Drogba. He signs Kezman. He signs Wayne Bridge. He signs Sen. He signs... Like there was, I can't even remember now. It was like Belletti, the right back, I'm pretty sure. Carvalho as well.
He brought in
Damien
a million
Duff,
players.
I think, was brought in as well. Like it was an influx of players, right? John Terry, I think, is now promoted. Desailly, Mike McLeary was there as well.
This guy.
I think McLeary came in that window.
Must have.
Yeah, because he left me. Yeah, he came in that window. So how we rank
this
it?
is an old time for me.
Oh yeah, it is because you were born in 2007.
These were his first 10 signings, all right?
Yeah, it's what we say.
Paulo Ferreira.
Yeah, right back.
Yeah.
Portuguese right back, so he was good.
Alex, the centre back.
Centre back, Brazilian
Iron
Alex.
Robin.
You know what he
Kezman.
was. Kezman, yep, the striker.
Didier Drogba.
Thiago
Thiago.
was
I think
that?
it's the Portuguese midfielder.
Portuguese, I can't remember him.
Ricardo Carvalho.
Yep, centre back, you know what he did.
Yarosik.
I don't
No
remember
idea.
him.
Del Horno. I remember Del Horno.
He was
Yeah.
left back, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Diarra.
Joined from like Spain. And then Lassana Diarra.
Yeah.
That was his first. I think that's his first season.
Yeah. That's
10
a
players.
lot of players.
It's a lot of players.
That's a lot of players.
It's kind of what they're doing now.
44
Not to the
players.
same effect,
Man,
though.
them FC.
Yeah,
But,
not to the same effect.
Mourinho comes in and does that. In season 1,
Yeah.
what do they do?
He's a good manager, man.
Season 2, season 1, they went under, is it 15 goals? Season 1 or season 2?
I think that's season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah.
So instantly, he says, I'm stamping my name on this club. I'm the special one. He does that.
Yeah, he comes in with... That's manager aura.
Dude.
Because he says...
I'm the special one.
Yeah, he told him that there's no pressure.
I
He said
predict these things.
There's no pressure.
I predict these
I don't
things.
feel any pressure. Yeah,
Because that first stint at Chelsea, he's gone and beat the record of defensively, has the best defensive record.
Yeah.
He's won the Premiership. He's also finished second, or I think he finished second as well in one season as well.
Yeah.
Champions League, they went deep in the Champions League.
It wasn't until his second stint that...
They won the Champions League, yeah. But like, how are we ranking that? Because to me, obviously it was financially injected. It was a lot of financial injection.
I mean, there's no denying his greatness. He had the resources that any manager would dream of. They could pay the players the most amount of money. He's already a manager that had experience, and he was already a world-class manager when he came in, because obviously he won the Champions League already with Porto. Comes in, it's instant success.
Instant.
And especially for owners that want to just spend, that's the best reward.
Instant.
It's instant.
But you think about, like, if you compare it to Liverpool, Klopp took years to get what he needed to get done.
Yeah.
Mind you, he didn't get all the players at once. We think about Rijkaard. That was still...
Steps.
First season wasn't
A lot
that
of
great.
steps.
Lots of steps. We talked about Arsenal. I tell you, there's only won an FA Cup. Hasn't quite got over the line yet.
Steps.
So, like, is Mourinho rebuild at Chelsea the greatest rebuild? Is it the greatest rebuild?
I don't know. It might be. It might be.
This is crazy to say.
It really might be, because I don't even want to call it a rebuild, only because I feel as though a rebuild is thought out and it's step by step and year after year you get better. I feel as though he skipped all the steps.
It's thought out.
He skipped the steps.
He came in, he signed those players, and then you forget that like it's the following seasons, like the SCNs of the world come in.
Yeah, I know. He brought in a lot of good players after that as well.
Like Ashley Cole comes in. He goes and says, I'm going to get the best left back in the league. Ashley Cole, boom. He goes, SCN from Leon.
They built a great team. He built a great team.
Damien Duff on the other side of Arden Robin, boom. Joe Cole.
Okay. Do we use how much money he had to spend as a slight to what he did? Or do we compare it to like City in 2008 where they got all that money and they did nothing? Well, they brought in like Robinho.
Well, let's talk about City's quote unquote rebuild, but like, because who is it? Mark Hughes was the coach.
City took time.
Robinho took bare time.
City brought in a lot of players instantly. When they brought in Robinho, they brought in Tevez.
Robinho thought he was signing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Which stinks.
Yeah.
Which absolutely stinks.
When they brought in all those players, it still took them, like Sean Wright-Phillips, it took them.
He went back to City after being at Chelsea and winning Champions League and that. So like, what do we there? Compare it to City then.
So that when you compare it to that, then you think, oh, what Mourinho did is more special because it's shown that you can't just bring in that many players and succeed straight away. Except he did it.
Chelsea right now.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe it's
Chelsea right now. Remember, they bought in two squads.
Yeah, 2 billion. 2 billion spent with this Bowley. And look at where they are.
Look where they are.
Maybe.
Even the Galacticos, are we going to say Galacticos 2.0 was a rebuild?
Madrid?
Yeah.
Like right now?
No, this is 3.0.
This is 3.0.
This is 3.0 right now.
2.0 is the Ronaldo.
Let's go Galacticos 1.
1 is like Zidane and that.
Zidane, Ronaldo, Beckham.
Yeah, that's 1.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a letdown.
That was a letdown. Yeah. But that started in 2001, I think it started.
Probably.
And it ended probably 2004 when Beckham was probably he was the last one. Right?
Yeah.
So a 4 year rebuild to get the players they wanted. They signed.
They won the Champions League.
Zidane, Zidane, Ronaldo, Beckham, Guti was already there, sorry.
Yeah.
But those are the main ones. Those three, right? Roberto Carlos was there.
Yeah, Hierro.
But like, so that was not instant. That was money spent as well, but that was not instant.
Yeah.
And then we think about
that wasn't instant.
2.0.
2.0 is elite, but they were competing against the best
Barca team ever.
Best Barca team ever. But 2.0,
they won Champions Leagues.
Yeah. Yeah. But 2.0 took time.
It took time
because Kaká didn't win a Champions League. So it took time because they brought in Kaká, Ronaldo, Benzema, Xabi Alonso, Arbeloa, all like the same time.
Was Cannavaro? No, he was
around 2006, 2005. So 2.0 Madrid, great, but that took time because it was like 2.5, which is what won them the trophy. When Bale comes in, Di Maria, Ozil, those are like it's like 2.5.
Which is, okay, we were talking about Di Maria, which is like a little segue to PSG and their rebuild.
Yeah. But I think that's before. I think that's the PSG one is Cavani, Lavezzi, when they bring in all these guys, Ibra,
yes. But is that a
Lucas Moura?
How does that compare to
it stinks. No, it stinks. To me, that stinks because they didn't win the Champions League. I feel as though for a rebuild to be, I think the only one that's different is Arsenal because how successful they were in a difficult league. They didn't win the Champions League, but they were so successful in a difficult league. Whereas PSG, the rebuild, of course, if you want to just say it's win the league, but to be up against the likes of Chelsea.
You've got to remember, though, Lyon had a stranglehold on that league. They were doing Bayern Munich-esque. They were Farmers League in that league. And remember, it was Juninho.
Yeah, of course.
He was like, you just remember him being at Lyon.
Of course.
Right?
Benzema.
And then Benzema before he went to Madrid. So PSG, all that money comes in. Now they become the team.
Yeah, and they did. They became
the team, and they've run away with bare championships, bare leagues, right? Bare leagues. So are we downplaying that element of it?
But not even any Champions League success at all. Not even making it to the final.
They made it to the final.
They didn't make it to the final until Neymar and Mbappe are there.
Yeah,
that's so far after you bring in Ibra, Lavezzi, Matuidi, all these guys that they had at that one point. Verratti, all these guys they signed. They spent so much money. Thiago Silva. We're not pretending Thiago Silva wasn't one of the best centre-backs in the world when they brought him in. Ibra, one of the best players in the world. They were spending so much money.
Beckham was when he did the last dance
did a last dance. Yeah, PSG can't compare to me because they didn't win the Champions League.
All right, so that stinks. Cool. So we've spoken about PSG. We said that stinks. We've spoken about Arsenal won.
Right, yeah.
Let's talk about Arsenal.
Arsenal original.
Let's talk about Wenger.
Yeah, that's elite. To me, that's elite.
He comes in, he changes the diet. Tony Adams goes from drinking beer and smoking to eating broccoli, chicken with no flavor, and rice. He brings in Vieira, brings in Petit. He brings in, who else did he bring in? Bergkamp comes in. Henry is there. Ian Wright, Anelka comes in as well.
Ian Wright was already there.
Ian Wright was already there, yeah. But Anelka comes in. I think he brought in Anelka. Yeah, he brought in Anelka.
Kolo
Touré. Lorraine comes in, another French import. Ashley Cole's there already.
Sol
Campbell is not there yet.
Yeah,
no, he's not there because he comes
Campbell.
from Tottenham. We did what we need to do there. Yeah. How are we rating that one?
Elite. For me, that's a
Invincibles.
That's a top four. That's in the top four because Arsenal were not bad, obviously, before he comes in.
Yeah.
Because they still had the likes of Ian Wright. But what he did in a just Man United's league.
Yeah, it was Man United's.
It was Man United's league. He made it so competitive, and how he turned that Arsenal team in without spending ridiculous money.
No. He
wasn't spending Sir Alex money.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't spending Sir Alex money. So what he did and how good he got certain players to become. Because he signed players that were not expected to become near the level of great that they were.
Yeah. And
so for me, that's why I like Klopp's Liverpool, because of what he did with what he had.
I don't know about that. You can't, that has an element of biasness, I think.
Klopp won a Champions League. Klopp won a Champions League. So if we're going to downplay winning the Champions League...
We're not downplaying winning the Champions League.
3 Champions League finals. He won a Champions League. He won the league in this City... 7 years,
City era,
8 years, 7 titles it's going to be. So
yeah,
I know that us and City isn't a competition, and us and City isn't a rivalry because they've just wiped the floor with the league.
But at least you're honest. The other Liverpool fan that normally sits in this seat could not admit that.
That's not a rivalry. And I know people say that, your best achievement is competing with City.
No, it's not. Like, we can't even. That's not even. I wouldn't say that to you.
City are too good, man.
Yeah,
they're too good. But we still managed to win everything under Klopp.
Yeah.
Everything.
So if we were to, before production's telling us we've got a few minutes left, if we were to wrap this up really quickly, how are we going to rank these? I would say, are we saying Liverpool, Mourinho's is the greatest rebuild of all time? Liverpool's in short second, it seems like. And then Arsenal and Arsenal won with Wenger. And then Rijkaard as well is kind of equal third.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
We didn't even include Guardiola 09, Barca, 08, 09, Barca.
Do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, we can do it quickly.
Okay, so you went there. Yeah. Barcelona.
Yeah.
Pep's Barcelona. He comes in after Rijkaard. Chat to me about that.
Because I feel as though Rijkaard is taking a lot of the credit here when there's one guy who deserves all the credit. And it's, for me, Guardiola comes into a Barca side, and this is based off memory, this statistic. So if it's wrong, crowd, it's wrong. And you guys let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure Rijkaard had only won 1 league title in his spell as manager at Barca. So before Guardiola comes in, it was like for 5 or 6 years, whatever the case is, they'd won 1 league title. They did win the Champions League, of course, but they'd only won 1 league title. So the level of dominance that Guardiola shows, I think he comes in, they win the 6 trophies. He brings in Thierry Henry.
Yep.
And he gets rid of Ronaldinho, the club's best player ever. And say, give Messi the keys and say, here, this is your team now. We're going to completely build around you. Samuel Eto'o's still there. He believes it's his team because remember, he said Messi played with him. Balls. Yeah, he said Messi. I didn't play with Messi. Messi played with me. Samuel Eto'o still thinks it's his team. He makes Xavi one of the mainstays. Iniesta comes in, one of the mainstays. Busquets isn't in yet.
No, he's not.
He's not in yet.
No, was it Mascherano? No, it wasn't Mascherano at the time.
I don't know.
Was it Van Bommel still?
I think Van Bommel was
Might
playing.
be Van Bommel still, yeah.
He tells Puyol and Piqué, brings back Piqué as well.
Man United.
And tells them, guys, you're going to be starting inside this deep. When the keeper's playing out, you're going to stand either side of the box and we're going to play out completely.
Puyol as well, who wasn't a ball playing.
Not a ball playing. Valdez, who
was not a ball playing.
Very average goalkeeper. He brings in Dani Alves. He's got Eric Abidal. And the Barca team and that rebuild that he ends up creating where he has two peaks of two of the greatest teams of all time. 2009 team that wins the Champions League and the 2011 team that wins the Champions League with David Villa, Messi, Pedro,
I remember that
Iniesta, Busquets. The best midfield of all time, Iniesta, Busquets, and Xavi. He said, he was watching Iniesta play in the reserves and he was playing centre back and he said, I want this guy to play 6. And everyone looked at him. He came from the juniors. They didn't bring him in.
Yeah.
He came from the juniors. And what he did and created in this team, and now you look at him as a manager, he's for me the greatest manager ever. His team, that transcended football in general. Because you look at players like Dani Alves.
But let me ask you this question. His team transcended football, but does the work that Rijkaard did pre him coming in give him the foundation to go and do that?
It gives him the start. And having having the academy obviously helps a lot. But he's come through the academy. So for me, I'm putting down a lot of the players that he's bringing in through the academy. I'm giving him a lot of the props because he's worked with all those players.
Yeah.
He's worked with them before and he saw the vision of putting them into the side. So for me, that in itself, because everyone wants to talk about Guardiola can only win when he spends money. He can only do this.
Nah, he didn't spend money that
in Barcelona. He brought in Henry. That was the only big.
But that wasn't that much money.
No, yeah.
Henry was coming to his end of his contract. I think he only had 1 year left.
Yeah,
that's why they let him go.
Yeah, and so for me, that's the only big player that he brought in that time.
What was that time though?
After that's when he gets rid of. He gets rid of Samuel Eto'o. They do a swap. He brings in Ibra. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that first, to come in and just set the league alight.
He transcended football. Everybody is a copy and paste league now, and everybody copies him.
And everyone wants to talk about Sir Alex being the best manager in world football. And you saw what Guardiola did to two Sir Alex teams in the Champions League finals. Men against boys. 2009, 2011. Men against boys.
They made Rio look terrible.
They made all those guys just run around like they had no idea. It was like people who have never played football before playing against.
That team was dangerous.
Playing against pros.
That team was absolutely dangerous.
Yeah. So for me, I think he won 5 league titles in 6 years.
It was only
4 league titles in 6 years, something like that. And he won 2 Champions Leagues and did 2 trebles. So for me, if that's not the best rebuild ever, then I don't know what is.
Okay, so by the sounds of things, it looks like Barcelona 2.0 is up there.
That's my one.
Over Mourinho.
Yeah,
over Mourinho.
That's my one.
Over Mourinho.
I reckon he can go Guardiola 1, Mourinho 2. For me, Liverpool 3, then Arsenal original 4. That's what I think.
Okay, crowd. Let us know what you guys think. Which
I'm
team?
just a youngin', so who knows? Who knows
which
if I'm
team
right.
had the greatest rebuild of all time? Obviously, we're looking at Arsenal. We're looking at Barcelona. We're looking at Chelsea. We're looking at PSG. There's been some Liverpools in there as well. So let us know what you guys think. I've been Denai. He's been Samuel. This has been the final whistle presented by Let 'Em Shoot. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Get to 8K. Road to 8K. Let's go.
Yeah, because we're going on tour.
3.5 weeks. We need to get to 8K, 3.5 weeks. New target. Let's go. We're out. Peace.